I know we were sitting there for a number of days, and frankly, it's been going on for almost a year now, waiting for what was going to happen with the whole Deshaun Watson, Houston Texans, trade me saga. And by God, this past week, we finally got that answer, didn't we? Oh, baby! The Houston Texans trading Deshaun Watson to the Cleveland Browns. My skid marks are back, baby! For a boatload of future first-round picks, 2022, 2023, 2024, and some other draft pick capital. But most interestingly of all, no Baker Mayfield coming back to the Texans in return. Now, this is one of these unique scenarios and these unique trades where talking about the football ramifications alone is sizable, significant. But there are obviously other significant factors at play here. And let me touch on those off-the-field factors first, because this is one of these things you can't just talk about this trade strictly from a football standpoint. You can't pretend like Deshaun Watson didn't have allegations of impropriety, sexual impropriety with, 22 different women? Lots of happy endings, if you will. Those allegations happened. There's still allegations and civil suits that have to be worked through and investigated and so forth. And this is where it gets really awkward, because you have those that will automatically assume that Deshaun Watson is innocent because he's a man, because he's a famous athlete. We know how this goes. You also have those that will say because he's a man that he's automatically guilty just because women brought accusations. Hashtag believe her and all that other bullshit. The problem with this is there's no neat or clean way to feel about it. The best way to be able to really formulate a well-educated opinion on this would have been to actually have a trial happen where you could see the evidence, hear the evidence, and weigh the evidence being presented from both parties, the prosecution and the defense. We didn't get that because the grand jury did not choose to bring any charges. Now, as always the case, that means that this won't go through criminal proceedings, still have the civil suits. And it doesn't mean that Deshaun Watson is guilty, nor does it mean that Deshaun Watson is innocent. That's a very tough thing because we like to think very binary, very black and white. It's either one or it's the other. And the problem is there's a lot of gray space in the world, and there certainly is a lot of gray space here. So to sit there and pretend like that doesn't exist, or you don't have that off-the-field cloud hanging over the situation, you just can't do that. It's disingenuous. To sit there and automatically assume that he's guilty is also disingenuous. That's not the way our system is supposed to work. Last time I checked. For those that are saying, well, all this talk about the big trade, how come nobody's talking about the allegations? Where the fuck have you been the past year? Yeah, because no media at no point in time has talked about Deshaun Watson and the allegations levied by these 22 or so women, have they? Nobody's even talked about this at all via major media outlets or anything else, social media, the internet, in the days leading up to and the actual consummation of the trade. Nobody brought up the frickin' allegations, right? Stupid. It's just really stupid. But yeah, it's frickin' awkward. I think you can do a whole video about how you're supposed to feel about the Deshaun Watson situation to begin with. The problem is that you don't know. You could think you know. You could believe you know. You can go off of what your judgment or instincts say, but what actual evidence are you basing that off of? So we are left to talk about the football piece of it. And for those that are saying, well, the Cleveland Browns and the NFL have certainly made their statement, this is news to you? You think they give two flying fucks about anything other than play on the field and making money? I'm sorry, if this is a revelation to you, it may be shocking, but it shouldn't be. But I also want to point out that just because somebody's accused, at least in this country, it is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Should that person who has charges not be able to continue to apply their craft, not be able to continue to make a living? when they haven't even been charged with anything formally criminally, let alone convicted. Now, I realize in the real world that you could get arrested for something, and you'll have plenty of employers, especially in at-will states, if they deem it within their rights to do so, will fire you even without formal charges, even without a formal conviction. But that doesn't make it right either. So, yeah, I mean, in some ways that's a statement they're making. But what if he was innocent? Now, if he's guilty, obviously, that's a significantly bad look. But what if he's innocent? What if there's a bunch of smelly Insta thoughts that are sitting there and scheming with the Houston Texans? Like, there's a lot of things here that are fishy on a variety of different levels. Both from the accuser standpoint, the Deshaun Watson standpoint, like none of it. Nobody looks 100% clean here. But obviously, if this is news to you, like this is how the NFL would do, like where the fuck have you been, honestly? As far as for the Houston Texans, though, and general manager Nick Caserio, you talk about taking a shit situation and making the absolute best out of it. To be able to take a quarterback with all these off-the-field allegations that did not play a single live game snap in 2021, and to be able to turn him into 3 future first-round picks and other draft pick capital is a goddamn coup. Like, that's executive of the year move shit right there. Just that one move. To be able to create a market with such leverage where you really, in theory, should not have had much leverage because Deshaun Watson did not want to play there, and it said as such, and sat out the entire 2021 season. To be able to then turn around and get other teams to create a market and create that desperation to the point where somebody eventually was going to drop pants and give you your own happy ending. Like, that was hellified good work by the Texans front office and general manager Nick Caserio. Period. But boy, oh boy, I'm excited to talk about this deal for the Cleveland Browns. The skid marks! And oh God, is this a skid marks thing to do? Now let me get this straight. And you're goddamn right, this is a low-hanging fruit, but sometimes you gotta pluck that motherfucker from the tree. The Houston Texans traded up to take Deshaun Watson 12th overall in the 2017 draft. Who did they trade up from 27 to 12 to get that pick from? Who? Or was it 25 to 12? It doesn't matter. You get the point. It was the Cleveland Browns. So the Cleveland Browns, who had an opportunity technically in 2017's draft to draft Deshaun Watson not once, but twice in the first 12 picks. Because they could have taken him number 1 overall, but once they took Myles Garrett number 1 overall, they still could have taken damn Deshaun Watson at pick 12. And they bailed out of that pick. So that way the next year they could take Baker fucking Mayfield number 1 overall because they didn't know what the hell they were doing and John Dorsey's a dumb dick to turn around and then 5 years later have to drop your pants to give up 3 future first round picks and other draft pick capital to bring in the quarterback you should have fucking drafted in 2017 begin with is peak skid marks. How could it not be? How could they not look as an organization like complete and total fucking fools? They bought incredibly high on a guy with a shit ton of off-the-field allegations and who didn't play a snap at all in 2021, a guy that they should have drafted 5 damn years ago. There is no positive spin to put on that. That is stupid. What's crazy about this whole thing is the Houston Texans, certainly if they wanted, could have had Baker Mayfield back in the deal, and they said, nah, we good. And I can't blame them. What a statement and indictment against Baker Mayfield from the Cleveland Browns organization, showing that they don't believe in him, showing that they have no faith or trust or confidence in him, because they said, not only are you so bad, we're willing to give up 3 first-round picks to a accused sex crime committer. I mean, that's what he is. He was an accused sex crime committer, even though there were no formal charges. You get what I'm saying? Like, all that off the field baggage. And the Browns said, in their skid mark mindset, I'd rather buy into that than another year of Baker Mayfield playing out his 5th year option. Like, if you're Baker Mayfield, you should feel like shit. Because, damn, what a damning statement against you. And the fact that the Houston Texans said, nah, we'd rather have draft picks than Baker Mayfield, like, he should feel like shit. I don't even know what the hell type of trade market will even be for him at this point. Somebody will trade for him, but it's going to be like a day 3 pick. Holy hell. But even beyond this trade for the Cleveland Browns, I say, this one doesn't make a whole ton of sense to me. Sure, you just brought in Amari Cooper. You traded, 5th and 6th round pick in order to bring him in. But even when you look at this offensive unit in general, you're cutting offensive linemen, you're getting wide receivers. Like, yes, you brought in Amari Cooper. Okay, yes, you have the running game. But let's be real here. You're not giving up the amount of draft pick capital that you did for Deshaun Watson to win running the goddamn ball and playing defense. It's not how the modern NFL works, and it's certainly not the way that the construction of the Cleveland Browns must work. Now you brought in Deshaun Watson. That in and of itself does not make this Browns team a contender. It does not. There were other issues. There were other flaws with this team. Who the fuck is he going to throw to? And now you look at all the draft pick capital. Maybe you say, well, they still have some draft pick capital in 2022, but goddamn, you give up that much for a guy, eventually those chickens can come home to roost. That is an awful lot that you've sunk into one guy that you don't even know. You don't even know if he's going to be suspended for any length of time in 2022 or beyond. And beyond all that, let's not even talk about the fact that the contract. This is landscape changing from a pure NFL economic standpoint. This dude got 5 years, $230 million guaranteed. $46 million a year guaranteed. For Deshaun Watson to be able to position himself to where he said, I want to get a guaranteed only money contract in order to agree to come to you, even though I didn't play in 2021, even though the extension I previously signed with the Houston Texans, I don't even think it's technically even started yet. Here you fucking go. That's insane. And only an organization as desperate as the goddamn SKIDMARKS would agree to some shit like this. And as great and wonderful as it is to have a franchise quarterback alone does not win you a Super Bowl. It does not. Even though sometimes I may make it seem that way. Where are the pieces in place for the Browns to be a contender? And you could make the argument going into 2022, like, is Deshaun Watson even the best quarterback in the division? Is he even the second best quarterback in the AFC North? Are they even the second best team in the division, let alone the best team? Are they the third best team in that division? I mean, I guess the Cleveland Browns felt they had no choice. I'll give them credit for one thing. They acknowledged that Baker Mayfield was not the dude, and he wasn't. He's mid. He doesn't suck, but he's never going to be great. Or at least he never was going to be in Cleveland. So 'tis better to do something about it, I guess, than just try to ride out the string when you already know what the reality is. But goddamn, son, to give that type of guaranteed contract to a dude like this, give up all that draft pick capital, this screams skid marks all the freaking way. And they better hope this works. If this doesn't culminate at least one or more than one Super Bowl trophies for the Cleveland Browns, this trade has to go down as one of the worst trades in NFL history. It has to. Because it's not just about the on-the-field shit, it's off-the-field shit too. You're saying none of that matters, we don't care. Well, if you're going to do that, then you better fucking win it all. And if you don't, this organization deserves to be ragged on 6 ways from Sunday.